Relationships need care. Small cracks, if ignored, can grow into chasms. Too often, people dive in with best intentions, only to lose themselves, or each other, along the way. Without attention, small everyday habits can slowly destroy even the strongest connection. Recognizing them is the first step to preventing harm and building something real. Let's explore 12 common behaviors that can slowly dismantle a partnership, and how awareness becomes the seed for lasting connection. 1. Chronic criticism. Every relationship needs honesty, but when honesty turns into ongoing criticism, it steadily eats away at connection. Criticism often feels justified. You saw something they did wrong, you want him to change, or you believe you're helping them become better. But constant, you always, you never, or pointing out flaws becomes exhausting for the person on the receiving end. They stop opening up, fearing another hit or lecture. Over time, criticism builds resentment, walls, and emotional distance. Love needs support and encouragement, not judgment and correction. In place of criticism, encouragement fosters openness and warmth. Choose kind words or gentle feedback. Your partner will listen more when they feel valued, not judged. 2. Stonewalling and emotional withdrawal. Nothing feels worse than standing in front of someone who's gone silent. When one partner shuts down conversations, avoids eye contact, or refuses to engage, it sends the message, "You don't matter." This silent punishment can feel worse than any argument. Stonewalling is often rooted in fear of conflict, fear of failure, fear of saying the wrong thing, but the long-term impact is clear. A bridge burned across which no one can cross. It shuts down connection and makes reconciliation nearly impossible. Staying present, even when it's hard, is the only path back. Choosing silence over honesty creates an emotional chasm that is difficult to close. Instead, invite dialogue, even a messy one, because healing starts in the shared space of being heard. 3. Self-centered communication. Words are powerful, and communication shapes relationships. Using I more than we, dominating conversations, or always turning the topic back to your day, your needs, your feelings, all this says, I matter more. When one person leads every conversation and never pauses to really listen, the other partner feels unseen and unheard. Frustration builds, then anger, and eventually one or both step away. Relationships aren't monologues, they're dialogues, exchanges of heart and mind. Balance comes from giving and receiving equally. True connection grows when you actively listen. What you hear reveals your partner's inner world. Curiosity keeps the spark alive. Ask questions and reflect back what you understand. 4. Lack of boundaries. Love can blur lines, but without mutual boundaries, it's easy to overstep. Maybe family, work, or friends are given priority at the expense of your partnership. Maybe you text all day, expecting constant attention, or you invade their privacy without permission. These behaviors often come from fear or insecurity, but they erode respect. Healthy relationships honor each person's inner life and external commitments. Boundaries don't make love weaker, they make it stronger by keeping it real. Boundaries help each person feel safe and independent, even while fully engaged in partnership. Establishing clear agreements prevents resentment and builds trust. 5. Failure to take responsibility. Mistakes happen. We all misstep. But failing to own your actions, blaming the other, saying, I wasn't ready, making excuses, turns a mistake into a wound. You lose trust, not because you messed up, but because you didn't say sorry. True healing begins with saying, I was wrong, let me make it right. Taking responsibility rebuilds safety, shows humility, and aligns your words with reality. It's what turns failure into growth. Owning your errors doesn't weaken you, it shows strength of character and love. A heartfelt apology plants the seeds of reconciliation and renewal. 6. Ignoring emotional needs. We often talk about love in grand terms, but relationships live in small moments. A tired hug, a timely text, a question about their day, all these matter. When we stop noticing each other, we slowly drift apart. Maybe life got busy, maybe you fell into routine, maybe you thought they'd always be there. But emotional neglect acts like a slow poison. Love needs a homemade meal, not just a reservation at a restaurant. It needs authenticity, not just communication. Tuning into emotional needs requires simple presence. Ask, listen, respond, remember. These small acts are the invisible threads that weave intimacy over time. 7. Avoiding conflict. Conflict is uncomfortable, but avoidance is worse. Pretending everything is okay, hiding hard truths, burying disappointment, gives peace only on the surface. Under the calm, unmet needs and resentments grow. Sooner or later, they leak into broken words, silent stares, or abrupt exits. Growth happens through conflict, not silence. You don't need storms in your relationship, but you can't ignore clouds, either. Honest conversation may be hard, but unresolved issues corrode love over time. Facing problems together strengthens bonds and builds resilience. 8. Defensiveness instead of openness. When feedback arrives, do you open or shut? Defensiveness comes in many forms: justification, counter-accusation, anger. It says, "Let me show you why I was right." But the feedback wasn't meant to win an argument, it was meant to connect, to show you what matters to the other person. Being willing to listen, without fighting, is a gift. Openness builds deeper trust than always being right. Turning feedback into dialogue instead of defensive sparring nurtures closeness. True understanding begins with humility and the courage to say, "Help me see your view." 9. Unmet expectations. Every relationship is full of unspoken assumptions. They should know me by now. They'll just love me regardless. They'll do what I do without me asking. But no one comes with a manual. Expectations unspoken become sources of hurt. When partner A assumes partner B knows what they want, but partner B doesn't know or does differently, that's a misunderstanding. Disappointment follows. Fairness requires honesty, not guessing. Say what you feel before your dreams become resentments. Clear expression is kinder than silent resentment. Speak your needs early, and you'll save years of sighs. 10. Prioritizing others over your partner. It's natural to care about friends, family, work. But when they consistently take precedence over your partner, the relationship loses priority. Scheduling someone second place is a message, whether you mean it or not. "I'll make time later" tends to become, "we never have time." Even when life is busy, let your partner feel prioritized. Relationships thrive on shared attention, not stolen moments. Quality time is love made visible. Small rituals, weekly evening walks, morning coffee rituals, anchor connection in daily life. 11. Gaslighting and manipulation. Words hurt, but twisting reality destroys trust. Gaslighting, "You're too sensitive," "That never happened," "You're overreacting," makes someone question their own experience. Manipulation, guilt, silent treatment, emotional blackmail, erodes agency and safety. You end up with a partner who's too afraid to trust or speak. When one person's reality becomes invalidated, the relationship becomes unsafe. Love demands clarity, not confusion. Emotional honesty is non-negotiable. Anything less breaks the foundation of trust. Speak truthfully, or don't speak at all. 12. Failure to grow together. People change. Great relationships evolve with them. When one partner grows and the other refuses, or when individuals grow in different directions, the gap widens. Shared values can shift, interests can fall away, routines can become stale. Without shared growth, learning, experiencing, adapting, you risk living parallel lives. Relationships are not static pictures. They're dynamic canvases. They require ongoing artistry, not preservation. Commit to growing both individually and together. Curiosity about change is love in action. Celebrate each other's evolution, and your story stays alive. Healing the damage. Recognizing destructive behaviors is not an invitation to guilt, it's a chance to heal. Transformation doesn't happen overnight. It begins with awareness, followed by compassion, for yourself and your partner, and then kind action. A single apology, spoken sincerely, can thaw months of tension. A mindful moment of connection can rescue drifting hearts. Here are 3 invitations to begin. 1. Stop. Notice the behavior as it arises. Breathe. Ask, is this helping my connection? 2. Name it. Share your observation in an "I feel" when you statement. No blaming. 3. Repair it. In small ways. Say you're sorry, give a hug, pause the tone. It resets the relational rhythm. Change starts with small, consistent steps, not grand gestures. Over time, tiny acts of love transform erosion into renewal. Why this matters? Relationships are not just personal, they model how we connect in the world. The behaviors we carry into partnerships follow us into friendships, workplaces, and communities. Learning to show up with empathy, humility, clarity, and care doesn't just save couplehood, it uplifts the world. Relationship health is a public good. Healing one relationship creates ripples that touch many others. Our habits speak louder than our intentions, they shape culture, team dynamics, and family legacies. Changing one handshake, one conversation, can shift entire communities. Final reflection. Here's the truth. Love is always a choice, not just a feeling. You choose to listen, to stay, to soften. You choose to fix the fence instead of walking away. And you do this day after day. It's the ongoing acts of connection that weave lasting bonds. When the little things are done mindfully, they become the foundation of something remarkable. This work is hard, but worth celebrating every step. The truth is, joy lives beyond the cracks, when we dare to connect again and again. Thank you for being here. If you found this illuminating, please like, share, and subscribe to keep the conversation going. Let's build better relationships, one insight, one apology, one gesture at a time.